Welcome to the podcast. You're listening to Z-Picks by Joe.
And as you might gather from that little intro, I have Mark Leota here again. He's been a guest on a couple of these previously. We're going to give this a try again tonight, see how it goes. We've got a few things up our sleeve, I think. First off, Mark has made me aware of his mother and her health situation. Candy is her name. Candy Berg, I believe.
Yes.
And you want to say something, Mark?
Yeah, I just want to say I love you, Mom, and everybody's rooting for you. We got Joe White over here rooting for you, and everybody and the whole scene out here in Austin. So we love you. And Megan, my sister, we love you. Hope you guys can, I hope we can all just pull through this and make a good win.
Well, Mark, I think that's really well stated. I just want to add my well wishes, and anything I could do to help, I'm certainly willing to do that.
Thank you, Joe.
But in any case, this show is dedicated to you, Candy. So let me move on to something else with Mark here. This is going to be another little bit of a surprise for him. But Mark had a birthday this week. He was 35 years old on Wednesday, and while I know he doesn't do a lot of celebrating for his birthday, I do have a little present for you, Mark.
Are you serious?
It might be a little bit belated, but I do have a birthday present for you, bud.
What is this? Oh, my goodness.
Well, it's not much of anything, but...
Oh, come on.
What?
Amazon? Oh, wait. It's probably a trick. Let's see.
No, it's...
Oh, it's an actual card.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
You guys see this? Amazon.
Yeah.
$25.
Okay, so...
There's so much shit I can get for $25, guys. You don't even know.
You didn't have to say the amount, Mark.
It's $2,500. I
You're
was
making
lying.
me seem like a cheapskate or something.
I was lying. It's a lot of money. I can't show you the back here, but it's a lot. I'm like, there's so much. I can get audio equipment and,
Oh,
maybe I can get
I suppose something like that.
That's wonderful,
Well,
Joe. Thank you so much, man.
You're
That's
quite
just
welcome. Quite
amazing.
welcome, Mark.
That's amazing. Thank you for thinking of me.
Okay, well, let's change our location up a little bit here.
Oh, where are we now? We're at the...
We're a place where you and I see each other an awful lot, and that is at Vulcan Gas Company on 6th Street, and we are sort of on the upper deck of Vulcan Gas.
Well, I think
you
you
can
call
see.
it... You've got a trademark name that I tell everybody. And they're like, where'd you come up from that? And I'm like, well, I made it up myself. And then everybody's like, wait, what? And I'm like, no, I'm kidding. Joe White dubbed it the Doobie Deck. I don't know, Joe. That sounds retarded. Joe made these presets. Well, I sent him a bunch of stuff, and I'm amazed that he actually loaded it in to this
I don't know,
mixer.
Joe. That sounds retarded. I don't know, Joe. That sounds retarded.
Mark, why do you keep saying that, man? What is wrong
not
with you?
saying
You
anything.
insane or something?
Yeah, I'm not.
Shit. Now, here's the real secret thing, as you may have surmised. I've managed to replace Mark with a machine, so I won't have to invite him over here anymore.
I won't even need to be around
No,
anymore.
that's it. I can just play Mark. I've got a whole bunch of more stuff that he sent me.
Have like
So-
10 presets, and he'll just run the
Yeah,
whole...
this is just a few of the ones that he actually created and sent me. But Mark, I do appreciate that. I'm just kidding about all that, of course. But Mark went to a lot of trouble to create some presets for me, and I really appreciate that, Mark, and thank you
Hey, you're
very
welcome,
much.
man.
And I think it's a good exhibit of your skills as a voiceover actor, which, as we've said before, Mark is a professional voiceover actor. So, anyway.
Professional voiceovers.
There you go. So anyway, what do you want to talk about? You got anything on your mind, or?
I mean, what were we talking? I'm hearing the dog in the background. We were talking about.
He wants to be on the podcast.
Yeah, he wants to just be here, right here on the table.
Well, we may have to try that one night. I'm not sure. It might be kind of disruptive, but
We were talking prior to this about the comedy scene, and I was remarking how incredible it was that you got brought up on stage by Tony Hinchcliffe on uh, I guess it was a secret show. It was Red Band's like secret show, and you were brought up on stage, and I thought that was just the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, it's actually happened a couple of times. There's actually been a little bit of a lead in for that, if you want the kind of the story.
Yeah, I want to hear it.
As you know, Tony does some of his own shows, Tony and Friends shows, and he hosts those, and he does extended sets in those shows. And there have been a couple of times previously on those shows where he's introduced me and called me out, in the crowd, and
Yeah.
but never on stage. And so New Year's Eve show, that was a really nice show. Tony called me up on stage that night, and I got to say a little bit, not too much. That was kind of cool. And then he sort of broke precedent this past Thursday night on the secret show.
Yeah,
And
that's the one.
as he started his set, he got into some material, and I was taking, as most of you know, I take pictures at those shows. I was wandering up in his view, and he saw me, and he said, "Hey, Joe, come on up here on stage." And so I did, and said a couple of things. He did a little intro. Of course, he always roasts me, the 190-year-old photographer that lives under the bridge with the bats. And he didn't let me finish what I was going to say, though. I think he didn't want me to actually try to tell a joke, because I'm not a comedian.
He's like,
But I was going to say something like, "Yeah, it's really noisy under there with all those bats. I mean, you got 5 million of them up there, and they're mammals. So, like, what are 5 million bats doing to pass the time?" "Well, you got mommy and daddy bat up there that are doing the thing, There's like that.
yeah.
You got 5 million bats up there.
Yeah.
It makes a big fucking noise. It's hard to sleep when you got 5 million bats copulating over your head." So anyway, it's probably enough of that. But I do appreciate him giving me that opportunity, giving me the recognition, and also he gets a little mileage out of it as far as
Yeah.
creating because he loves to do that on his Kill Tony shows. He likes to create moments, something where somebody gets called out of the crowd, or some extraordinary thing happens, and it changes the whole dynamic of the
It does,
way
and
the show is going. Quite honestly,
when I was there on that secret show, it was just amazing. The crowd fucking lit up, and it was like my birthday celebration. I was there, and the crowd just lit up. Everybody was screaming and hollering. And I'm like, "Fuck yeah, Joe!"
well, there's also the contrast. You got the young guy.
Oh
You
yeah,
got the old codger, and it's like you got this
yeah, a whole
Bobbsey twins on the screen.
I'm
on
like,
the
man, we
stage
should
or something.
we should do a podcast on that stage one day, or maybe at another club.
It's kind of like you and I here. As I said, Mark just celebrated his birthday. He's 35. Well, I'm double that plus 5 years. So it's like there's a little age contrast, you might say, going on.
Joe's young. He's being nice.
So anyway, Mark, you started to talk about the comedy scene. I kind of got carried away and went off in the weeds. So you want to bring us back to something?
I was just saying that it's very interesting out here. Everything that's been brought into town with Austin and all the people who have moved here to pursue their comedy dreams. I find it extraordinarily interesting because as an actor and what I do, you get LA, you get New York, and I know comics are the same. But what I find interesting is that there's a home for them, like say at the Vulcan or maybe what might be Rogan's new club whenever it opens. It just seems like there's a home for comics to, develop themselves in a way where they can, get that special, get that, make a good living off what they do.
Well, what you say, I've observed that firsthand because I've been going to Vulcan since the pandemic broke, pretty much, and they started having open shows with no limit on crowd and didn't have to wear a mask and all that bullshit. And in that period of time, since March, I guess, of this past year, I can't tell you how many people I have run into, spoken with, or observed them in one way or another that were attracted to Austin, and specifically because of the possible gold rush that exists
Yeah.
uh, effectively for comedians, up and coming comedians. And here's the part I really like. I love to see younger people be successful and achieve their dreams. And I could speak of several. I've seen some of these guys come into town. I've seen them do mics, and they're kind of wet behind the ears, you know.
Yeah,
They just got here and pretty young in their career, and I see them do mics. And in that period of time, I've seen several of them become regulars on various shows. Not only Brian Redman's Death Squad show, um, the Kill Tony show. It's just absolutely amazing. Now, not everybody's going to be successful, guys. I mean, this is just the way the world works. For every, think of songwriters, think of musicians, think of athletes.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
only some percentage rises to the top. And what gets you there is your own work, your talent, and your persistence, and your ability to pursue that dream. And you got to have a couple lucky breaks along the way. You know, you get somebody that helps you
But,
out, or
you
some
know,
sponsorship.
I'd also interject a bit there that I mean, just from the industry I come from, the film industry, it takes a lot of getting to know people and being kind, and knowing when to and how to network, and not just being like a grouch or something. Like if you're whether it be the film industry, voiceovers, whatever, theater, or comedy, you got to really like plant those seeds and be kind to everybody.
Are you kind of saying your success comes through or is aided by your connections oftentimes, and having good connections?
Well, yeah, I would say that. So a lot of losses I've had, there's like gigantic chunks in my life. It's because I didn't go hang out with people. I would be like kind of grouchy. I'd just be auditioning. Say I audition in the morning. I filmed at noon.
Do you grouchy, Mark?
I'm not grouchy.
I know you're not.
That's the thing. Like I just would go home and not hang out with people.
Oh, okay.
So I would find myself missing out on opportunities where if I showed up,
Uh-huh.
just say like I do the secret show just because I want to see friends. If I had showed up to those cantinas with the casting directors and everybody in Hollywood, or I've been to a bunch of different clubs and whatnot. It's just it wasn't my scene, so I thought, well, it's not important. But it is important. Whatever industry you're in, if people are going out and hanging out, you should involve yourself, even if there's no open mic or whatever. Just get to know people, be nice, be kind. I always say that to all the newer comics. I'm like, just keep a good head on your shoulders and ride it out, because it's going to be a rough ride.
The other thing I see too is there's some integration of the local comedy community with those that have come in town. They seem to be absorbed into the various, if you want to call it troupe or whatever, where there's kind of an association of people. And there's also a number of hosts that have come into town. There's actually some that have come in and left. One of the newer ones, one of the ones that impresses me the most is Bianca Pareto.
Okay.
Have you ever been to any of her shows?
I don't think I have, but I think a buddy of mine does the artwork.
Oh yeah.
I think he did Bianca's artwork. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Is that what I showed you earlier? Or is that the same?
Yeah, we'll flash to that here in just a minute, Mark. I almost forgot about it, but let's bring that in here in just a minute. But I want to say just a little bit more about her. I met her back in the spring. She actually came to a barbecue that we had back in the spring, and some of the other comedians came to it as well. I'd never met her before in my life, never laid eyes on her. And she came to that barbecue, didn't know a soul there. You'd have thought she was right at home.
Yeah.
And then I found out she was just starting. She'd gotten some connections at the Hilton Garden, and she was just starting to do some shows over there.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And the format for those was, she would have 3 or 4 or 5 comedians do short stand-up, and then it would branch into an open mic. And, she might have 20, 30 open micers. I think they got 3 minutes or 5 minutes. So they're pretty short little sets, but they all got a little chance. And in fact, a couple of these guys I was talking about earlier that I've seen become regulars on shows, I saw them there on her mic. They had just walked into town. They found out about her show, did a couple of mics, and now, we don't know who those guys, where they're going. They've really done well.
Yeah, well, that's awesome.
Yeah. So I'm not sure how I got off on Bianca, but
yeah. So my buddy, I was just saying real quick, Future Nobody. He's the artist for.
Oh yeah. I was going to show some of his.
Oh yeah. Let's
well, I
show
showed
Future Nobody.
I showed it at the very beginning, but we'll go back to it.
What's up, Colton? Woo.
Yeah. So that's an example of it. Let me get us out of the way. I think I can do that here. Let me see if I can get us out of the way. Yeah, I can get us out of the way.
Nice. Yeah,
so
he does these things. He's done it for Yonder, Kelsey Hudgens, and Mason Smith, Nick Reese, like all the door guys and everybody, a lot of the comedians that are there. He's done a bunch of things where he just, he does it so quickly. He'll do it like in a couple hours, when you ask him.
Yeah, I'm going to put us back in the scene, Mark. Yeah, I want to expand on that just a little bit because I had messaged him a little bit because I had some work I thought I wanted him to do. As it turned out, I kind of put that off for a while. But he immediately became extremely helpful when I contacted him. And then as it turns out, he came over here, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago?
Yeah, he met me at the Secret Show.
Secret Show, and he lives way over
out in Shreveport, Louisiana.
Shreveport?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's way out there. He's like 5.5 hours away.
So he drove like 10 hours total to come to that show?
I mean, he came to the show and he went right back home because he was like, I can do it. I got nothing else to do for the week. And I'm like, cool.
Yeah, in fact, I showed up there a little bit early, and he was a little bit early where you weren't there.
Yeah, I was late.
He said, "Where's Mark?" I said, "I don't know. He's usually gets here about 8. And it was probably 7:30 by then."
Yeah, he was there.
Said,
he was there even.
Message Mark, tell him get the fuck over here. It's like, okay, so I messaged him. That didn't help anything, of course.
Yeah, no, I was trying to haul ass over there,
but he got a first-hand opportunity to meet some of the comedians.
Oh yeah, everybody was really happy that he was there and seeing his work, and everybody wanted something. So I was like, "Hey man, this is a great business opportunity. Just be out here and knock it out of the park."
Yeah, I gather that he follows Austin comedies, particularly Kill Tony.
I think so. Yeah.
There's no real way to follow Death Squad because it's not really published on anything, as far as I know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, only through virtual Red Band and stuff.
Speaking of virtual Red Band, let's look at that. By the way, I'm going to credit this to Brian Redband because this is
Brian Redband.
Let's see. Let me see what he's got going on here right now. He's got something else. He got something else on the screen, so we won't tarry with that right now.
Oh no, it's just him.
Let's go back up on the deck, Mark.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. There he is.
Oh yeah. See, now it's just him.
Brian has his virtual Red Band show going on right now. He keeps throwing up overlays.
Oh Jesus. Brian, what are you doing?
So I've got his video, though, and I could pipe his video into this podcast. I'll do it momentarily, but I give full credit to Brian Redband
Oh yeah.
for any of that content that shows his face or anything that he might say.
Can we hear his audio on the video?
You know what? I think we probably can. Here, hold on a minute. I don't know. I didn't check that out very well, Mark, so
I don't
I
worry.
guess we're not going to get any of his audio. I don't want to show much of that anyway because
Yeah.
don't want to use too much of someone else's material by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway, back to the comedy scene you were referring to. Let me talk a little bit more
yeah,
about Virtual Red Band first, though, for those who don't know about it. He does a podcast late night, generally, oftentimes after Death Squad or oftentimes after Kill Tony, although tonight he's just doing one that's actually a little earlier tonight than normal.
Yeah.
And he normally starts it out with live stream YouTube, and he'll talk about some topic for a while and kind of intro into the VR. And then usually 30 minutes to an hour into the live stream, it switches over to VR. And those people that have VR capability, headsets, whatever, they can switch to VR mode. And then anybody else that wants to watch it that doesn't have VR, they can see a 2D representation of what's going on the VR with the YouTube live stream. It's not really that great to watch if you don't have VR, but if you want to intro into it, I think it's kind of a cool thing. I started doing it a little bit myself. Mark's been involved in it now for how long, Mark? When did you
I
get
think I
started?
joined in. Let me see. When was Brian's birthday? I don't know. Maybe like June of 2021
Uh-huh.
or something like that. It was It's not been too long, but
I don't think he's been doing them that long, has he?
yeah, no, he started from what I understand, he started during the pandemic, and it was just a way for everybody to like.
Was he doing the virtual then?
Yeah, he started the whole virtual thing, and I mean, he's been doing like live broadcasts like this when, like, after I'd met him back in the day, I followed him on what was it, Periscope on Twitter,
Okay.
and they've gotten rid of that since. But he used to go live all the time, make goofy ass videos, and he'd be cracking up all evening, man, watching that shit. And but then Periscope shut down. It's like, well, so I think he got on YouTube, and then he probably had a YouTube channel prior to that. But yeah, I think it was during the lockdown and everything that he started live streaming the YouTube VR, or the VR on YouTube, and yeah, just getting everybody involved and having friends come through because everybody's just locked up at home, like in fucking prison. You got
Yeah,
wild.
there's still some of that going on too, Mark.
Oh,
It
yeah.
hasn't completely cleared out. So anyway, let's steer off that
Yeah.
part of the topic a little bit, but
What's
stay
up,
on
Brian?
comedy for a couple more minutes if you want to. Anything else you want to say about that? I mean,
Shout out
when
to
did you start showing up at Vulcan?
hold on. Shout out to Janice and Brian.
What's up, dude?
I started going to Vulcan when I moved here. I used to go to Pasadena Ice House. It's out in California. When I came here, I guess it was just prior to Halloween,
Of last year, last fall?
2021. I think it was.
2021?
Yeah, it was 20. I started coming to Vulcan. I saw you that first night at Halloween. You were dressed as Dracula.
I didn't realize. I thought you had been coming longer than
I had come like for a month prior.
Okay.
I had been coming every Thursday. I wasn't doing the Kill Tonys. I was just like at the secret shows because I find it more engaging in terms of hanging out, networking, and just shooting the shit with people. So
Yeah, somewhere around that point in time, maybe it was actually Halloween. Did I talk to you Halloween, you think? Or
oh yeah. You
did I?
waved at me and I waved at you, and I'm
Okay,
like, how you doing? Hey, Dracula.
I want to suck your blood, man.
You gonna suck my blood, dude? I mean, you were convincing. You were haunting in your cape. You were like, I am Dracula.
I've kind of perfected that costume, by the way.
Yeah, it's great, man.
It's about 10 years old.
It's so good.
I have to flash some. I'll flash some pictures up of that.
Oh yeah,
sometime.
man, it's so funny.
Yeah. So okay. So anyway, you started coming around October.
Yeah.
That's not quite as long as I thought you'd been doing it, but whatever. And you've been there virtually every Death Squad show since.
Yeah,
then, haven't
yeah,
you?
every secret show.
Have you done any of the Kill Tonys at all?
I did. I've only done one so far. You know, Jay, our buddy that works over at Tesla, he invited me out a couple times, and I finally showed up at one of them. I don't know, like a month or so ago.
Do you remember who was the guest on that particular show?
You know, I couldn't even tell you. I don't know. I mean, because I'm such a fan of like William, and so like all I think about, I know Hans is there and William, but the only thing I like catch through the night when it's like Brian, Tony, and William. Those are like the only. Oh wait, no, we're talking about
The
Kill
special
Tony.
guest. I'm talking about the special.
Yeah, we're talking
guest
about Kill Tony.
that night. I just
Okay.
wondered who it was.
Oh yeah, I don't remember. But yeah, I mean, literally the takeaway at the end of the night is the Williams set, and I'm just, you know, knee slapping. I'm like crying, laughing, especially when he starts yelling and shit. I'm about to lose the caboose.
Do you ever go to any of the other venues around town? I mean, I have ventured out.
I want to. I think you need to take me to do something like that because I don't know anybody. I don't know.
Yeah, I actually started doing the comedy scene back during the pandemic, but we were going to an outdoor venue. My buddy and I tried. In fact, that's him. That is Trice over my shoulder, standing.
Oh, right there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's him right there. We started doing Cherrywood Coffee House. A buddy of ours and another friend are hosting shows up there on Tuesday nights, and we started doing those shows. Back.
And where's that located?
That's approximately 35th Street, right up in there.
So that's north. That's
about Midtown.
okay.
If you know the frontage road there on 35, about where the stadium is.
Yeah.
The right-hand side of the road, there's a great big grocery store, Fiesta Grocery.
Mm-hmm.
You ever notice that? And down that street, whatever street that is, I think it's 35th, 30-something, maybe it's 32nd,
Yeah.
is Cherrywood Coffee House, and they have an outdoor comedy venue. Good food there, kind of nice outdoor setting, very open.
Yeah.
And they usually have 6, 7 stand-ups. At that time, it was all locals, although there would be people drifting in town even before the scene started building up. There were people drifting in town that would show up and just somehow they'd find out about it and come and get on the show. It wasn't open mic; you had to be invited or on the schedule for the show. Started doing that, and then started doing Bianca's show over to Hilton Garden.
Okay.
And then J.C. David had a show over Santa Cruz Theater. That was the name of it. It was over on 7th Street. But I think something happened there. They lost the use of that facility, so they stopped doing shows over there. That's where I met some of the Canada guys at that show.
The Canada guys?
Yeah, some of the guys that
Like
some of Jason's friends. Jason Rouse's friends.
Jason isn't from Canada, right?
Is what now?
Jason isn't from Canada, is he?
Yeah, he's Canadian.
Oh, he is. I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
He's got a green card, but yeah, he's definitely. But he worked comedy in Los Angeles for 13 years.
Yeah,
before he
yeah.
came
So
out here,
I had no idea.
He's definitely no newcomer to the U.S. by any means. And then Creek and Cave. That's the other thing.
Creek and Cave.
Other
yeah.
location. Several others I've been meaning to go to. There's another one down on South Lamar. I can't remember the name of it. Something or another. Got that Sunset Room over there. Oh yeah, Trevor Cavalo, when he was in town, he had a show over at Come and Take It Live. It's across the street from Buzzmill. Oh yeah, there's another venue, Buzzmill.
Buzzmill.
They're on not Lamar, on Riverside.
Mm-hmm.
That's almost entirely an open mic. I don't know. I haven't been over there enough to say for sure. Then right across the street from that is that Come and Take It Live. Had one show there. I don't know what happened with that. And then just this past Tuesday night, I went over to the Pershing. Bianca started having shows over there.
What is it called?
Pershing. Also a guy by the name, I don't know him, Dan Pazinski, I think is his name, is a host over there. Yeah, that Pershing is on East 5th, way over there. And it's a private club of all things.
Yeah.
It looks to me like they have mostly music shows there. They got a food truck outside. They got private parking for the members. And then they open that up on some weekend or some nights for open shows. Of course, I'm not a member over there.
Yeah.
I didn't get to park in the private parking, but I did go over there and watch the show. We got a nice little setup over there. It's really more for music, but I had a good crowd, and that seems to be yet another developing venue here in Austin. Of course, you got the Romo Room up north. Never been to that.
Yeah, I've never been to any of them.
Cap City Comedy is trying to open up in there, I think, in the spring.
Yeah.
Of course, I think everybody keeps hearing about Joe Rogan and his club.
Well, yeah, who knows when that's going to open up.
And, you know, we've kind of fought through the rumors this past year.
Yeah.
And rather than spread anymore, I'm not going to say anything because I don't know anything to say. But when it opens,
I don't think anybody knows.
when it opens, it'll open, I think.
Yeah. It'll be good.
Yeah.
It'll be good.
So, Mark, we have been going 30-something minutes here, and that's about as long as we ever go for a set.
Right.
So let's call this our first session and kind of fade that out and clear our throats, and we'll come back and try to do another little session with a little different spin, okay?
All right.
All right, just hold still. I'm going to fade this out and stop this.
Welcome to the podcast. You're listening to Z Picks by Joe.
Okay, so we're back again here to finish out this evening's podcast. We took a little break, kind of cleared our throats, had a couple of things to drink, and we also took a little break and joined Brian Redband's Virtual Red Band podcast, which is going on right now.
Virtual Red Band.
In fact, I may pop over to that.
No.
Let me
Just
take us
remembering
off the
from a couple
screen
days
for a
ago.
minute.
I
Oh, yeah.
gotta get some.
By the way,
Oh,
I
look at
credit
that.
this 100% to Brian Redband and his
I
Virtual
bet
Red
if you
Band
soaked it in
podcast.
soapy water, it'll
Look at that. We've got Kim Chronic. We've got what I believe is Gigi over there. It might be Skittles, but I think it's Gigi
Where's dandruff will start coming.
in this frame that we're looking at.
The worst is when you
pick
let
a-
someone else
hey,
eat
go,
it,
buddy.
And that's
and then
Brian's
their hair.
first person view.
How you been?
I don't know if that's Gigi. So, Skittles is there. And there's Kay on the
See the fever
side.
not hitting
To
the
the
pillow?
right.
the what?
So, Gigi is in
See
the
the baby
red
in your
Jessica
heart or-
Rabbit
Oh.
dress.
Getting through.
Gigi is looking
too
like
bad.
Conan
I-
O'Brien,
You got hit hard. You
and
got
Kim
hit hard
Chronic
last week.
is dressed like a bee.
I think so, yeah. I think I'm
You
a
know.
little bit better than last time.
That was like a
Sweet girl, wonderful girl.
All right,
Still
so
You know, Kim Chronic's the girl who got me onto
Yeah.
Virtual Red Band. She
Oh,
helped me out.
really?
Yeah, she helped me out with
Oh,
all
that's
my
cool.
technical difficulties I had.
I'm going to take them out and let me make sure their audio is completely muted here.
And then big allergies are the ones that
Get
try to
any
fucking
audio
choke you out.
leakage from their audio. And come back to where we were up on the Vulcan deck. Yeah, keep going on where you were talking about.
I was just saying, Kim Chronic. So Kim, she lives out there in Maui. She's in Hawaii.
Okay.
And when I had some issues because I was buying a gaming PC, I was trying to get on the Virtual Red Band, and I didn't have Brian's information. So I'm like, well, how do I come into this whole thing? And I just messaged her, she messaged me back and walked me through the whole thing. Like, I mean, step by step. And I had a lot of issues, like signing in to Steam and getting Steam to work with what I was doing. I'd imagine it's a little bit more difficult than what you're doing on your Oculus.
Yeah, Oculus is pretty well packaged, and you really just kind of follow the instructions, and you're pretty much there.
Yeah.
You don't really have to know too much about it. Is my takeaway, and of course I'm a technical guy, so it's pretty easy for me anyway. But
Yeah, I'm pretty retarded. And,
they've got it, perfected well enough that they can sell it mass market. And
Joe, hit the retarded button on the.
I don't know, Joe. That sounds retarded. I don't know, Joe. That sounds retarded.
Mark, why do you keep saying that, man?
I'm not saying it.
You said that.
Why are you saying them?
I don't know, Joe. That sounds retarded.
I'm not saying that.
So anyway, I guess one of the things they told you after I jumped on for a minute, kind of talked a minute, and then I gave Mark the headset, and he jumped on for a minute.
Oh, that was fun. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's still going on, so I'm sure Mark will join it when he gets home here after we finish this thing up. We're going to try to finish it up here fairly soon.
Yeah.
They said, "Hey, we want Joe to talk about auto racing." And it's like, yeah, I can talk about auto racing, but I'm not going to talk about auto racing tonight because we've already gone quite a long time with this podcast. And if I get wound up into it, it's liable to go even longer than
Oh, yeah.
that we want it to go. And I need to do some prep for it anyway.
You're a professional. You
We're
know
going to
what
do
you're
that kind
doing.
of a session. I need to get some pictures together and a little story and kind of make it interesting for people if anybody finds that interesting. But we'll save that story for another time.
Yeah.
But I am prepared to tell a story tonight. If you want to hear a story, if you want to hear a story time, I can tell a story.
Wait, you're going to tell. Well, hold on.
This is
Well,
not
what
going
are
to be
we
about
at right
racing.
now?
This might put you to sleep.
We're almost
Mark.
at midnight, so
Shit,
what
is it
do I
that
need
late?
to? Do I need to get my jammies? What are we doing?
Did you bring them with you, Mark?
I mean, I brought some jammies because sometimes we go really long.
So,
And it
well,
gets
I
weird.
don't know.
I got some jammies.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess go ahead and put them on.
All right, let me. You want me to jump off here?
Yeah.
I can just move my microphone. Let's see.
Okay. All right. I'm not going to pause this, so whatever you do, do it fairly quickly. What's your headphone? Oh, okay. Oh, you're going to change right here on camera. Oh, my God. Is there anything I don't really want to see here? I guess not. Thank goodness. There's the dog whining in the background. He always wants to get in the show, and I don't know. We're going to have to figure out how to bring him in here somehow. I'm not sure how that's going to work. He's kind of camera shy. Jeez, Mark.
Oh gosh, I'm trying to put on my. All right, here we go. Let's see if we can. I love your story times, and they're always great. So I want to hear all the stories. I usually use them when I'm going to sleep.
I don't know, Joe. That sounds retarded.
It's kind of the way you look too, Mark, I have to say.
Hey Joe, my name is Mark. I like to talk about things.
So what do you do with those things?
So here they go down.
Oh, you probably want those down. Can we cover up more of your face so I don't have to look at you?
Let me see. I'm covered up.
All right, so Mark, I don't know about this, man. This is
We're being silly.
kind of taking a lot of silly turns here, but I am going to start on a story. And this one goes back quite a long ways. In fact, it goes back to when I was in college. And I have to explain it a little bit before I can actually go into the story itself. But when I was a freshman in college at the University of Tennessee in Knoxville, my freshman year, in spite of all advice otherwise, my parents allowed me to live in a rooming house and not in a dorm.
Really?
And so I lived in a house. It was an old house on White Avenue behind the library. And I would say that about 20 guys lived in that house. The lady that owned it, her name was Mrs. B.
Mrs. B.
I will not elaborate on how that should be taken, but her name was Mrs. B. And she had converted that old house into a boarding house, a rooming house. And the whole upstairs had been converted into apartments. So you basically had a bedroom. That's what you had. The big hallway bedroom, a large common bathroom, and then there were steps that went down from that second floor down to an entrance at the ground level into a parking lot. So anytime you came in and out of that house, you had to go up and down those steps. And back in the day, this was way before cell phones. It was almost before telephones, really. There was a payphone there on the wall by those steps, and it was a common phone, so everybody on that second floor used that phone, and they also took their calls there because you could call into it. So all this is critical to the story. So anyway, my roommate and I, my roommate's name was Lynn. I had known him from high school, good friends with him and his family and all. So we decided we would room together for our freshman year. And we were up there. We're always trying to get into some kind of mischief. So anyway, we were up there one night and, let's go eat. So we go over to the cafeteria. There was a cafeteria a couple of blocks away, and that was kind of the easy place to eat because it was close and cheap.
Yeah.
Evans Cafeteria. And we went over to Evans that night, ate, whatever, piddled around a little bit. And it's still daylight, a little bit daylight. And we're heading back to the apartment building or the boarding house. And the doctor had an office there on the corner adjacent to that cafeteria. They'd been, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to say, yeah. Oh,
And they had been building a parking lot there, paving the lot and all that kind of stuff. Well, we happened to notice, or I happened to notice, that they had put up a kind of a fence arrangement around the parking lot, to keep people out of it at night. And it was basically a chain. It's a great big diameter chain, and it went through a number of posts, and so it kind of blocked off that parking lot like in a rectangle.
Yeah.
Pretty good size little parking lot. Well, I was looking at that chain. I don't know why we stopped to look at it, but we did.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at that chain, and I noticed it wasn't locked. And I said, Lynn, here again, that's one of those freshman prank things. You have no idea what you do. I said, Lynn, let's steal that chain. So here we are, unlooping that chain out of the post. And he and I have got like chain. I don't know how much chain it
Big
was,
old chain.
but I got a big old thing of chain hanging off of me, and Lynn's got a big thing hanging off of him.
Yeah.
It looked like we're on the chain gang. So we go walking back over the apartment building, or the rooming house, and we go upstairs, and of course all our buddies were there and stuff. I said, "Look at what we got! We got this chain over there. We got it out of that parking lot." Of course, everybody's oohing and ahhing about it and it was nothing special. It was just chain.
Just chain.
People were just oohing and ahhing about it, and I have no idea what we were going to do with that chain, other than just take it as a prank.
Yeah.
And to show off, I guess, that we'd done it. So it's time to study, so we go back in our room. We take that chain with us, and we shove it under the bunk. We had bunk beds in that room and a desk and some arrangements there. I think we had a closet, and it was kind of small. Not much bigger than this living room they were sitting in, actually. And so Lynn and I were sitting there studying, and I hear the phone ring off in the distance. And somebody comes running up there, and they said, "Oh, my God, we've got Dr. Jones on the phone. He's all bent out of shape. He knows there was some boys over here in this house that took his chain, and he wants to know who it is. He says he's on the phone right now, and he wants to talk to somebody. And I said, and whoever it was came running into my room, and said that stuff. So I go down, pick up the phone, and sure enough, there's this guy on the phone. He said, "This is Dr. Jones. I saw you boys over there and taking my chain." He says, "No, I've been in school myself. I've done pranks. I was in college once." He says, "If you bring it back, if you can get it back, I'll let it go." Of course, I acted like I didn't know a damn thing about it. I said, "Well, Dr. Jones, I mean, I don't know." I said, "I haven't seen that chain. I don't know. I can ask around here. I know all these guys that live here. And yeah, I'm sure they'll be understanding, and you'll get it back." He said, "Okay, well, you better, because otherwise I'm going to call the dean, and I want to get to the bottom of this." It sounds real mean. So I hung up the phone. I went running back upstairs. I said, Lynn, I said, "We've been found out. They saw us take that fucking chain. We got to get it back over there." So we stopped what we were doing, put our books away and shit, grabbed that chain up quick as we could, went running down the steps of that chain, took it back over to the parking lot. So we're standing there threading that chain very carefully back through all
Get
the
the fuck out of here, really?
Oh, it's true. We're threading that chain back through all the stanchions, get it all back, and kind of, okay, got it. We got it. We're not going to get in any trouble. Whew, it's kind of like a sigh of relief.
Yeah.
So we very slowly walked back over to the apartment house. And we walk in the parking lot, and of course we got the steps that I described that go up the back. Well, we walk up those steps, or walk up to the entranceway for those steps, and open the door. Every single guy that lived in that house was sitting there on those steps. And our buddy, John Simpson, is sitting at the very back. And he jumps up and he says, "Well, I'm Dr. Jones. Thanks for bringing my chain back." And all those guys are just horse laughing, just laughing. Lynn and I are standing there. It's like, "You son of a bitch."
You
You
motherfucker.
motherfucker. Well, he had us scared to death because we figured we'd get thrown out of school or some shit. Now, the real sad part about that story is John Simpson got killed in Vietnam. Very first time he was in any kind of a battle.
What year was that?
That was in about 1960. Let's see, it would have been about 66 or 67, I guess. And yeah, it was real bad, real sad.
That's awful. I'm really sorry to
So I
hear
hate
that.
to end that story on a sad note, but I
Well,
will.
you guys were good friends.
Oh yeah, we're very good friends. Yeah.
How did that affect you personally? I mean, did you find out immediately, or was it just some time after?
Oh no, I heard it on the radio, Mark. Back in that era, I hate to even get into the Vietnam shit. Back in that era, at the end of every day, they would come on radio
That's
and
right, I heard about that,
read
yeah.
the names of anybody local who had been killed in Vietnam. And I was driving into town, picked up something, was coming back to campus, and I was listening to the radio. I didn't usually listen to that report. And I'm listening to it, and they start reading off these names, and they say, John Simpson. And it's like, oh my God. And so I raced back to campus, and actually I think Lynn was the first person I talked to, and I said, because he was even better friends with John than I was.
Yeah.
He says, "Lynn, I just heard something on the radio about John." And I said, "I don't know if they're talking about our John Simpson or somebody other, some other," because we knew he had gone to Vietnam.
Yeah.
And Lynn called. He had a contact with her family, and he called, and sure enough, it was true. Yeah.
I'm really sorry about that.
Well, it's kind of a downer. I hate to end on a
And,
downer,
yeah,
man.
let's not end on a downer, but I am very sorry because I know, my mother and a lot of people in that era lost so many good friends. It just seemed like everybody you went to high school with, or even just college beginning, and they didn't want to finish college, they went in to the war, and then some came back and a lot didn't.
Yeah.
You know, a lot didn't come back.
You know, the thing about John was I would call him a mountain man. He was kind of a throwback. His family owned a good amount of acreage down on the Clinch River below Knoxville.
Yeah.
They had a very nice place down there, and he was a hunter, man. He would go out and hunt, whether he needed to or not. He'd just go out. I mean, he loved the outdoors. He'd probably been shooting since who knows how young. Very confident man.
Yeah.
Son of a judge.
Wow.
And,
Son of a judge.
Yeah, I'm making this longer than it should be, but part of all the goings on in that rooming house led to his flunking out of school. He and another buddy of his flunked out, and they had no choice in that era, and they decided to enlist in the Marine Corps. They went through training together. They had a buddy system. They deployed them to Vietnam together. They went in the first battle together. First battle, John stuck his head up out of the trench and got shot through the neck. And that was the end of him. Just like that. That's a true story.
I'll tell you, Joe, that, I don't know why it resonates with me. I was never in the military, but it's so sad that people go, even whatever Vietnam was supposed to mean to them, and they look. I mean, I've heard so many names from my mom's side of different individual athletes, you name it, and they're just gone.
Yeah.
Gone in a heartbeat. They just landed in a helicopter and they're out.
Yep.
And
Anyway, Mark, I don't want to dwell on a negative topic
Yeah.
here particularly. I hate that we even got into it, but maybe some of you find it interesting. It is life, and that's kind of life isn't always fair, and it doesn't always turn out the way you want it to be. But I'm very pleased to be here with my friend Mark. Mark, thank you for coming over this evening, bud.
it's been a
In spite of
pleasure.
the fact that you just
I don't know, Joe.
you
That
just
sounds retarded. I don't know, Joe. That sounds retarded.
I might have to make one that goes the other way.
Yeah, what are the other ones? There's
Oh,
like
the other
two
one? Oh, I only did.
Welcome to the
I only did-
podcast.
I only did
You're
two of them.
listening to Z Picks by Joe.
And Z Picks by Joe is out of here for this evening. Thank you. Bye-bye.